lot of these platforms, they've been holding me back from really going in and exposing what I really want to expose.
That's R. Kelly's former cellmate, and he's finally speaking out about what's really happening with the rapper behind bars. In case you haven't heard, R.
Kelly was then removed against his will by guards from the prison and was not allowed to be treated. And they are saying that basically this could kill him because of the blood clots and the care that they are alleging he is not receiving.
We've got all the details, and this situation involves some major nemeso. Let's get into it. The stakes are high, and R. Kelly is fighting for his life behind bars. While much of the drama has been kept under wraps, everything changed in June 2025. That's when his legal team, led by attorney Beau Brindley, filed what could be one of the most explosive legal motions in recent memory. Submitted in Chicago federal court, the motion called for R. Kelly's immediate release to home detention. The shocking claim that officials within the Bureau of Prisons, along with members of the Aryan...
These are people who seek to kill Mr. Kelly, rather than allow the corrupt criminal conduct of those who manufactured his convictions be exposed.
But this wasn't just a case of lawyers making dramatic claims to win their clients' release. This motion came with serious backing. It included a sworn statement from a key witness who claimed to have first-hand knowledge of the alleged plot to kill R. Kelly. At the center of these explosive allegations is McQuill Glenn Stein, a terminally ill inmate who identified himself as a shot caller within the Aryan Brotherhood. According to Stein's sworn statement, 3 officials from the Bureau of Prisons at the Federal Correctional Institution in Butner, North Carolina, allegedly offered him...
Mr. Stein, in his declaration, has set forth the reason that was given. The reason is that Mr. Kelly was about to expose some facts that would be extremely inflammatory and damaging to the Bureau of Prisons and the Department of Justice. And because of that, the Bureau of Prisons instructed Michael Glenn Stein to go to Butner and execute R. Kelly. And Mr. Stein made clear and gave us extraordinary detail when we spoke to Mr. Stein. We didn't use this until we actually went down and met with Mr. Stein for hours. And he told us in extraordinary detail that this is not the first instance, that this happens all the time, that the Aryan Brotherhood has been directed to commit murders and beatings at the behest of prison officials for years.
According to R. Kelly's attorney Beau Brindley, Stein was allegedly told that Kelly was preparing to reveal explosive information details that could severely damage both the Bureau of Prisons and the Department of Justice. The alleged solution: eliminate Kelly before he could expose the truth. But here's where things take an even darker turn. Stein claims he was offered a very specific deal in exchange.
They have said that if he is to do this, he is a terminal cancer patient, he's going to die in the near future. That's a fact. And they have said that he will be transferred and he'll get the opportunity to walk away. And Michael Glenn Stein has a history of escaping from the Bureau of Prisons. He escaped previously. That's why he spent so long at the ADX Supermax in Florence. And all of a sudden, he was moved to this relatively low security facility at Butner and put near R. Kelly. That's a fact.
According to the allegations, Steinwo is terminally ill with cancer, was promised a transfer to another facility, and given the chance to escape, allowing him to die a free man instead of behind bars. Given his history of escaping Bureau of Prisons facilities in his previous placement at a DX Supermax in Florence, the escape offer sounded all too plausible. But then something unexpected happened. Instead of following through with the alleged murder, Stein claims he had a change of heart. He allegedly arrived at R. Kelly's prison unit in March 2025. And rather than acting on the order he says came from BOP officials, Stein chose to warn Kelly about the plot. According to Kelly's attorney, Stein disclosed that arrangements like this, where prison officials allegedly instruct gang members to carry out violent acts, are common. He claimed that Aryan Brotherhood has long been used by prison staff to conduct beatings and murders at their direction. If true, these allegations point to deep systemic corruption within the federal prison system that extends far beyond Kelly's individual case. But the danger didn't end there. Kelly's legal team alleges that by June 2025 they learned of a...
And that discussions have been had about poison in the food hall, about poison in the commissary. Discussions with Mr. Stein have been had about stabbings. These are the kinds of methods that have been discussed.
The allegations detail specific methods that were allegedly discussed to carry out the hit on R. Kelly, including poisoning his food in the chow hall or commissary as well as orchestrated stabbings. After the emergency motion was filed, Kelly's situation reportedly took an even darker turn. He was moved to solitary confinement at FCIB Teener, where his legal team claims he's being held in harsh, spider-infested conditions and denied contact with his family. According to his attorneys, this isn't about protecting Kelly, it's retaliation for exposing the alleged murder plot. He's now allegedly too afraid to eat prison meals or consume anything from the commissary, fearing they may be poisoned. But the murder plot, as disturbing as it is just one piece of what Kelly's legal team says is a much larger conspiracy. They argue that the entire case against him is built on a foundation.
Well, let me say it this way. It's not allegedly having evidence. We do have evidence, and one piece of evidence we've already presented in the form of a signed declaration from Keyshawn Mogadamudi, Robert's former cellmate. And what he describes is having been solicited by prosecutors who are offering him a reduced sentence in exchange for stealing Mr. Kelly's privileged attorney-client correspondence.
According to R. Kelly's attorney, they have obtained evidence that his former cellmate was allegedly recruited by prosecutors to steal privileged attorney-client communications. The cellmate, Keyshawn Mogadamudi, signed a declaration claiming that prison guards facilitated the theft of confidential legal documents, which were then copied by a Bureau of Prisons investigator and ultimately used during Kelly's trials. If proven true, this would represent a major constitutional violation and could potentially lead to Kelly's conviction being overturned. Federal prosecutors, however, have dismissed the allegations with scathing language. On June 16, 2025, they characterized Kelly's claims of a murder plot as fanciful, deeply unserious, and a mockery of the harm suffered by his victims. They labeled Kelly a serial and unrepentant child molester and argued that his accusations undermined the experiences of those he was convicted of harming. Prosecutors also claimed that Kelly's placement in solitary confinement demonstrates that prison officials are taking his safety concerns seriously, contradicting the narrative of a conspiracy to have him killed. In a sign of just how dire his situation.
Absolutely. We're going to seek every opportunity to, one, make sure that Robert Kelly doesn't get killed, and number two, to see that he is freed based on what we believe to be and will prove to be a corrupt prosecution, the kind of which President Trump has promised to eradicate.
R. Kelly's attorneys have made a public appeal to President Donald Trump requesting a presidential pardon. They argue that Kelly is a victim of severe prosecutorial misconduct and believe that Trump, having faced extensive legal battles himself, might empathize with Kelly's situation. The appeal appears to be a calculated move, referencing Trump's recent commutation of the sentence of gangster Disciples co-founder Larry Hoover during his presidency as a precedent. As of the latest reports, no pardon has been granted. Still, Kelly's legal team contends that his case raises broader concerns about the systemic targeting of powerful black men and
he filing about what they doing to all blacks in America. They violating the out of our human rights. R. Kelly case too. They violating that man human rights. Larry Hoover. Like, they violating his human rights. He got another bogus.
Despite the explosive murder plot allegations, R. Kelly's legal efforts in the traditional court system have seen little success. On February 12, 2025, the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals upheld his conviction and 30-year prison sentence, rejecting claims of insufficient evidence, jury bias, and the improper application of racketeering laws. Kelly's attorney Jennifer Bonjean has stated her intention to seek a review by the U.S. Supreme Court, citing concerns over prosecutorial overreach. However, the Supreme Court had already declined to hear his appeal related to the Chicago conviction back in October 2024. Even amid ongoing legal battles and alleged threats to his safety, Kelly has reportedly remained creatively productive while incarcerated. In a March 2025 podcast interview with fellow inmate Tun, AANDP, he claimed to have written 25 new albums behind bars. But the story took a serious and unexpected turn. According to newly filed court documents, Kelly suffered a frightening medical emergency while in custodian.
So in the emergency filing, they allege that R. Kelly was giving an additional dose of medication by prison staff. And they're alleging that because of that additional medication that he was instructed to take and that he actually took, he suffered a overdose. So they say that R. Kelly woke up allegedly on June 13th and he felt faint. He was dizzy. He started to see black spots. He got up and he fell. He crawled to the door of the cell and he lost consciousness. Then at that point he was placed on a gurney. He was taken by ambulance to a nearby hospital because they tried to take him to the hospital inside of or associated with the facility that he's in, but they couldn't help